The rain came down hard, sudden, and without warning, turning the hospital parking lot into a sea of rippling reflections. In the middle of that storm stood a woman, clutching her briefcase, her uniform soaked through, her steps unsteady. Her decorated navy cap rolled across the wet pavement, pushed by the wind like a lost leaf. And the man who ran after it, the man nobody ever noticed, the one everyone walked past every single day, was the janitor. A tired, underpaid single father named Marcus Hale. He had no idea that chasing that cap in the pouring rain would change his entire life forever. Because the woman he helped wasn't just anyone. She was Admiral Rowan Carter, the highest-ranking Navy officer to visit the hospital that month. And she was about to discover that sometimes the people who save us aren't the ones in uniforms, but the ones quietly surviving storms of their own. If one small act of kindness can change everything, keep watching, because this story will restore your faith in humanity. The rain battered Marcus's face as he chased the Admiral's cap, wiped the leaves off it, and handed it back to her, soaked to the bone. She looked shocked that a janitor had run into the storm just to save a stranger's dignity. But Marcus just smiled, told her to hurry inside where it was dry, and went back to his cart. He didn't expect thanks. He never did. He pushed that cart across the wet lobby floors, pretending the cold rain hadn't seeped deep into his tired bones. Marcus had worked at the hospital for 5 years. Ever since his wife Nora passed away, leaving him alone with their 8-year-old son, Jace. Life had become nothing but early mornings, long shifts, school drop-offs, and late-night worries about bills he couldn't pay. Every day he walked past doctors and executives who barely saw him. He mopped floors, cleaned waiting rooms, fixed broken things, simply because no one else would. Yet he carried himself with quiet dignity, determined to show his son that hard times didn't erase a person's worth. Admiral Rowan Carter, on the other hand, lived a life that looked perfect from the outside, but felt empty inside. After 28 years of service, medals, and missions, she had come home only to find her family slipping away. Her sister barely spoke to her. Her mother no longer recognized her because of dementia. Her days were strict, precise, and lonely. She valued discipline, order, respect, everything except humility. That's why the moment in the rain stayed with her long after she changed into dry clothes. It was kindness with no reason, no motive, just pure humanity. 3 hours later, as Marcus finished buffing the hallway floors on the second level, he heard quick, frantic footsteps. Rowan appeared, looking up and down the halls like she was searching for someone important. When her eyes found Marcus, she walked straight to him, something hesitant in her step, not the confident stride people expected from a Navy Admiral. She thanked him again for what he did earlier, said she wanted to show her gratitude properly. Marcus smiled politely, told her it was nothing, he was just in the right place at the right time. But Rowan noticed the stiffness in his shoulders, the damp edges of his uniform, the exhaustion he tried to hide. She made a quiet promise to herself to find out more about this man. That evening, as the sun finally broke through the clouds and painted the wet pavement gold, Marcus carried Jace on his shoulders toward the bus stop. His car had died months ago, and repairs were impossible on his salary. So father and son walked nearly a mile every single day. Rowan watched from her car, stunned, as the same man who helped her in the rain now carried a little boy uphill, holding a broken umbrella that barely covered them both. Something tight gripped her chest. She had commanded sailors in life-or-death situations, made split-second decisions under pressure. Yet this simple sight moved her in a way she couldn't explain. The next afternoon, Marcus came home from work to find a small envelope taped to his apartment door. Inside was a thank you card signed, R. Carter, and a gift card for groceries. His first thought was to return it. He didn't take charity. But then he remembered the empty fridge, and Jace's soft voice the night before asking if dinner would be late again. So he kept it, quietly, gratefully. But Rowan wasn't finished. 3 days later, on a bright, calm afternoon, just as Marcus finished washing dishes and laying out Jace's school clothes for the next day, a sharp knock echoed through the apartment. It wasn't the landlord. It wasn't a neighbor. When Marcus opened the door, sunlight poured in around the figure standing there in full dress uniform. Admiral Rowan Carter was on his doorstep. She told him she had looked into his records, his years of perfect attendance, his overtime, his quiet habit of helping anyone who needed it. And she wanted to nominate him for a special civilian commendation program, one that came with real financial help for families of essential workers. Marcus stood frozen, overwhelmed, feeling like he didn't deserve it. But Rowan looked him in the eye and said his kindness mattered. That the world needed more men who did good without needing applause. In the weeks that followed, Rowan visited the hospital more often. Sometimes she walked alone in the rehabilitation garden. Sometimes her path crossed with Marcus. She began to love his honesty, his steady heart, the way he always put his son first. Marcus, in turn, admired her strength, her sharp mind, and the quiet loneliness he could feel behind her perfect posture. It wasn't love yet. It was deeper than that at first. Two people who had survived alone for years, slowly learning how to breathe again, together. If this story touched your heart, hit that like button, leave a comment, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe to Kindness Matters. Because stories like this remind us that one small act can change everything. And the world needs more kindness, today, tomorrow, and always.